She thought she got away with
Last year,
ruining
this
the
woman
family.
lost her husband, so she went on to write a book about how to cope with losing a loved one for kids. She then went on to a national TV show, but just a few days ago, she was charged with his... This is probably one of the wildest stories of...
I don't know what I was expecting, but I don't think I was expecting someone to allegedly murder their husband and then write a book about how to cope with it for her children. I'm okay, here we go.
I've covered in a long time, and the woman that we're covering today, her name is Corey Richins. And it starts with Corey's side of the story, where she told the police that she made her husband a Moscow Mule to celebrate the sale of some house before he went to bed. Then she claimed that one of her sons had a nightmare, so she spent...
Wait, I'm assuming he said Moscow, and I just heard Moscow, because I'm dumb. What is a Moscow Mule? Any cool kids who know? I'm assuming it's an alcoholic drink, right? Oh fuck, I could get murdered if I was given any mule. Ginger beer and vodka. I mean, I know ginger beer is like probably one of the tamest drinks in the universe, right? Like you drink that when you're a little tummy, a little upset, but fuck. I feel like anything you put vodka in and there's not like 80 other ingredients to cover it up is gonna kill somebody with crushed mint. Interesting. I kinda wanna try it, but I don't know. I don't know if it's a me drink, but I would try it.
Spent the night in his room until about 3 a.m. when she woke up. She went and checked on her husband, and she found him without a pulse. She then called 911, and when the cops finally showed up, they tried to save him, but with no luck, so he was pronounced dead on the scene. A thing that stood out to the police, though, she told them that she left her phone in the bedroom with her husband when she went into her son's room. Clearly, things seemed a little bit off for a dude in his 30s to just randomly die in his sleep, and conveniently, his wife was not there. But the police...
Okay. Obviously, I'm not going to try and murder someone and get away with it. But I feel like the biggest mistake, well, maybe not the biggest mistake, but I feel like one mistake people make when they're trying to, like, feed the cops a bullshit story is that, like, they hyper remember details. Because my understanding of it is people who are actually in traumatic events or something, like, they don't end up with very, like, clear memories of it. So when somebody's like, yeah, at 12:04, I woke up and I had to pee a little bit, so I went straight into the bathroom. And while I was peeing, I looked out the window up at the moon, and I thought the moon was really pretty. And after that, I was like, oh man, I was sleeping really weird. I just want to go check on my kids because I'm such a great mother. And so I tiptoed to their rooms. I was wearing one green and one blue sock. I was feeling a little spicy that day. And I cracked open the door and I saw that my oldest child had fallen asleep to Slime Girl ASMR. And then I went to the second door and the door was locked tightly. I was like, I wonder what my teenager is doing behind that door. That's weird. So I knocked and they were like, I'm okay, Mom. You know what I mean?
Then left the house and started investigating. And while they were investigating, a whole year went by. And during this year, she wrote a book on how to cope with losing a loved one made for kids. But apparently the book had some success because she even went on to a news station to promote the book. And this segment is incredibly weird, especially now knowing what happened. Because conveniently for her, it was left out that she allegedly...
We like weird in this channel, but I get this sneaking suspicion that, like, this isn't going to be the fun kind of weird. Yeah, the psychology behind it is that they give super minute details on other things to give their brain respite because confronting the truth is traumatic.
Him.
No matter if it's apparent as...
Wait, the truth, it's traumatic because they did something bad and they're trying to get rid of it? Or, like, when somebody experiences trauma and they're not guilty of something? I need someone to come to the ballpark and murder me, please. You can write a book? That bad, huh?
Sibling or friend, talking about loss with kids can be a tricky subject. Joining us now is author of Are You With Me? Corey Richins, to share her 3 C's to helping kids cope with grief. And Corey, I want to start with your story. What happened in your personal life?
So my husband passed away unexpectedly last year. So it's March 4th was a 1-year anniversary for us. And he was 39. It completely took us all by shock.
Well, except for you. This is some real psychopathic behavior. I mean, you go on to off your...
Also, I know a lot of people like to remember the day of traumatic events, and then like those months and or whatever are like very hard for them. When they commit the crime, even lying about it is hard for most people to do, especially when it's not premeditated. Oh, there's pizza. I'm doing that and fryer stuff, which usually has 2 people doing it. Shit. You're soloing Phasmophobia in real life. But, like, I don't know. I don't remember the days of, like, any of the super traumatic stuff that happened to me. And I feel like it's the play. Because, like, Schmodrums has some family, and they just, like, shut down during specific parts of the year because something bad happened to them. And I'm just like, I don't even remember. I don't even remember when it happened. All I remember is I was playing League of Legends with a couple friends. That's when I found out my dad had passed away in an avalanche. That's really all I remember. I mean, I guess it was like winter or something, right? Because it was an avalanche, but like, I don't know. My whole life was a blur because like my stepdad passed away because somebody fell asleep on the road, and then my biological dad died in an avalanche. Like, my teenage years are just a blur. Thank you, Deku. It's, I like to think I've healed for the most part. I still think about it sometimes, but, we made the best of a bad situation.
Husband, then lie to your kids.
And I try not to mope about it a whole bunch because I really don't think that's what they, I don't think that's what they would have wanted from me, So I'm just trying to, sorry, I left for a couple minutes to fight a boss. No worries. I hope you, oh, well, you lost the battle. Well, I hope you get him next time, whatever you're playing. But yeah, I don't try to mope about it, like deaths. Like I said, I don't think they would want me moping and shutting down. So I'm out here. I'm trying to live my best VTuber life, I suppose.
Then write a book with your kids on how to deal with the grief that you created. Then to go on to national TV to promote it to the rest of the world and lie to them as well. I mean, she's insane, but it gets so much worse.
And we have 3 little boys, 10, 9, and 6. And, my kids and I kind of wrote this book on the different emotions and grieving processes that we've experienced last.
Raven says, I think it really depends on the person, their age, the other circumstances, your mental health, what kind of therapy you got, and how soon. I like to think my incredibly dark sense of humor is what helped me.
Last year, and hoping that it can kind of help other kids.
Not only did she do that to her husband, but she did that to her kids, and then she tortured her kids to go through all those emotions again to write this book for the pain that.
Deku says, yeah, mine passed when I was young too. I respect that you're willing to share that because it makes me feel a little less lonely. Yeah, that's what I try to do for this channel. Like, sorry, I had to clear my throat. I had a couple people come in, and I think it might have been when me and Pizza Boy were playing that roller champion game. And like, they were like, why do you have depression and anxiety in your tags? And I was like, well, it's something that has unfortunately played, a really big part in my life, and I just don't want. Sorry, my voice is fighting me, and I just don't want people to feel alone, because I definitely felt alone for a good chunk of my life. Growing up trans and super gay in like a super tiny Mormon city. And so I've always kind of just tried to, kind of be the kind of person, the kind of person that I wanted in my life, right? People come in here, find me, I'm willing to listen. Fuck. A lot of my best stream nights are as I'm just like playing a game in the background and we're shooting the shit in chat. Unless I was playing Broforce or Chex Quest, then at which point I was the masterpiece in those. Ah, I am the boot of freedom and I'm coming for your asshole. Ah.
That she caused. She completely tore apart their family, ending the father's life early, and now she's probably gonna get 20 plus years in a concrete box. And now the kids have to live with her soulless actions. I am beyond heartbroken for them.
Deal with this and kind of, find happiness some.
Yeah, that's really fucked up and selfish. This lady pretty much deprived her kids of a mom and a dad in one fell swoop. For, I don't know, for whatever fucked up reason she thought she should. She should ice her husband. I don't know. Maybe it'll talk about it. Maybe she's just a complete insane person and wanted to do it for the hell of it.
Some way or another.
What a selfish human being. I don't think I've ever covered a more garbage person in my life.
And to make sense and process, I'm
Yes.
sure. And I'm sure you felt that going through and trying to explain it and articulate it for you.
Raven, it can also depend on other factors like your personality and whether there are significant touchstones. We love you, Callie. I love you guys too. Like I said, nobody ever has to thank me for screaming. I feel so fucking blessed. Any God's damn day, I get to sit here and do my best to entertain you and be the biggest goofball I can be. Also, what are touchstones? Like, people that reach out and touch when you're sad or something? From what I can tell, Clout. Yeah, I mean, I guess if she murdered the husband and then immediately wrote a book about it, pulling the OJ, I guess.
You and your boys.
Yes, exactly.
The alleged OJ. I think it's important to say alleged when you're talking about these things because obviously, you know, I'm not the judge, jury, executioner, or whatever.
Exactly. And so I've done, I'm new to all of this. So kind of doing, research and reading books and things to try and understand, not only how to grieve as a widow, as a wife, but also, with my kids, how to help them understand what just happened. And what I have kind of found is, as I mentioned, it's kind of.
Okay, obviously this doesn't apply to this bitch, you know. Fuck her if she gets charged with these alleged crimes or whatever, but like if that kind of shit happened to someone, like if someone lost their life partner and they have kids and like the relationship was good, that I can't imagine how hard that would be. Because like on one hand, you would almost certainly want to try and be strong for your children, but like at the same time, you just lost somebody who, you got 3 kids, that probably takes a decade plus. Well, I mean, it doesn't have to, but I would feel like probably around there, right? I've been with Smudgems for like 12 years and I don't really remember a time, she wasn't part of my life. Like just losing like that, something like that, while trying to protect your kids, but also trying to process your own emotions while also trying to deal with the world and I would die. It is hard to grieve your own loss while also helping others navigate their loss. Yeah, that sounds tough.
The 3 C's is how I visualize it. And it's, connection, continuity, and care.
Yeah, those are 3 things you took away from your kids. It's awful that this happened, but you hear about things like this, but you don't hear about this happening, then the mother making a book on how to cope with the grief that she created with her kids, then go on to national TV to promote it. And it's her fault to begin with. It's insane. It's like, it's so insane, it's laughable.
And Corey, do you mention at dinner, here's dad, or dad would like this meal, or dad would...
Yeah.
True. I don't even really know what else to say. Like, I'm just doing that, like, I will laugh at the most fucked up shit, but a lot of the time, if it's really fucked up, I'm not, like, laughing because I genuinely find it funny. It's like, my brain and body doesn't know what else to do, so I'm just like, what? What the fuck?
Let's bring dad on a bike ride.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, explaining to my kid, just because he's not present here with us physically, that doesn't mean his presence isn't here with us and he's doing these things with us. And he's, here for birthdays and he's here for Christmas and, and it's just comforting to them to know that, they're not living this life alone.
Well, I mean, he would have been here if you weren't a terrible human. I hope the judge throws the book at her because she is a terrible, soulless human being. My blood is boiling from just looking at this case. I hope the kids have family members who love them and actually have the financial resources to take care of all 3 of them so they don't have to get divided up through the terrible system process. What an absolute nightmare. The mother just...
Is that something that still happens? Do they still separate kids if, like, more than one kid has to go into foster care together? Because that kind of feels like something that somewhere along the line they would have been like, well, psychology shows this is a bad fucking idea or something. But then again, it might also be hard. It might also be hard to, like, find a family who's looking to adopt, but also wants to take on 3 children all at the same time. Like, that's a tough one. Everything about this seems tough. Also, I want to know, like, this is the dark side of me coming out. Like, oops, wrong button. I really want to know how and why she killed this man. That is what I yearn for. I'm a little too obsessed with true crime. Oops, I just kicked my desk. Like, finding placement for multiple kids can be hard. Yeah, I agree. My lady Raven, that's... Everything about this seems fucked up.
Just dealt them the worst cards possible. How stupid is this woman to think that she would actually get away with something like this? How is this not just pure self-destruction? You're completely ruining your family and your own life. Like,
I feel like, honestly, thinking you can get away with a crime is kind of like what everyone likes to do when there's talk about, like, mass shooters or, you know, a fight or, like, any of these other things. Like, everyone just feels like they're the main character in their story. And, like, you know, Smudgems is a teacher, and she's like, you know what, I think we should arm teachers. And I was like, that's fine. I'm fine with that. But you also got to do more than that, right? Like, if you just arm teachers, even if you gave them a little bit of training, I don't think that's the answer to school shootings, and for one very big reason. You're still going to lose one or more classes of students. Because, like, the teachers aren't going to be ready to defend their students at the drop of a hat. They're not going to be expecting it without something else in place. Literally, whoever wants to do this terrible, heinous thing is going to walk in there. They're going to immediately take out one classroom, possibly more, and then maybe whatever teachers and students are left will be able to fucking, you know, respond to the situation. But everyone's always like, oh man, I wouldn't even need a gun. I would just rip the door off a locker, and I would Judy kick the gun out of their hands, and then I'd whap them with the fucking locker door, and then they would be unconscious, and I would stand upon them triumphantly, and then they would be begging for mercy, and I would grab the school flag, and I would pierce their black heart with it. Ah! Nobody's the main... Joe, nobody... Okay, hold on. The raffle fucked me up. Raven, and some foster parents are specific, like, we only want to foster a certain demographic. When my sister was in foster care, her foster mom only took teenage girls. I think if we ever did adopt kids, I would need to adopt a kid that was a little older. I don't know if I could, like... I don't know with, like, my mental health struggles and my sleeping disorder, I could handle a kid that was too young. Joe, nobody's the main character. We did live shooter training where they randomly came in and shot blanks at us while we were learning, and everyone thought they shot like 4 times. Joe, there were 20-some shots. I disagree that arming teachers is where it's at, TSA training. Plus, if any weapon is misplaced, that's a whole other problem. Yeah, I agree. It's a really tough situation. I don't know what it is, because, like... Yeah, I really don't know what it is. Like, I have no idea. Happens too fast anyway to really act. Like, yeah, you would need, like, armed, trained guards there whenever the school's in session. And, like, I feel like the police departments are probably already stretched thin as it is. Teaching and police seems like jobs with just really high turnover rates. And the climate of the world right now, not very many people want to do those jobs, I would think. Pizza Boy, anyone who says that has never been in an actual situation even close to that, I've been assaulted with a wrench to the head. There is no thought in my mind to think that had I been armed, the situation would have been better for me. Yeah, I mean, fuck, just look at me playing battle royales, right? Like, it doesn't matter how many guns I've got, how many of my favorite guns I've got. If someone gets a good drop on me, like, even in a video game, I'm just fucking gone, you know? Like... Humans, you silly humans, though you have the ability to heal from wounds far better than any other animals. Like, I don't think very many other animals can fucking heal broken legs or whatever. But damn, Y'all go down and hit your head just a little bit of wrong and you're dead. Fucked up. Joe, I don't know why, but I need to know what size of wrench was at pizza? Oh, fuck. Deku's. Mark Wahlberg saying if he were on the plane on September 11th, 2001, things would have gone differently. The hubris. Yeah. What a fucking idiot. I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't know if I'm super comfortable with teachers being armed, but like, if it made the teachers feel better and there was like proper gun safety in effect, like, I probably wouldn't argue with it. But like I said, I don't think that's the end all answer. There has to be something else, and I don't fucking know what it is. It's fucked up that this shit is even happening. Lady Raven, it's so true there. This is the same way that people talk about prepping or whatever. Man, if the government zombie terrorists come for me, they won't make it past the gate because I'll be posted in my gun turret that I'm going to mount on my roof. Whatever, Redneck Bill. You're probably going to be drunk watching football if somebody did show up. Whatever. Like, I almost feel if you truly wanted to stop this, you'd have to somehow have, like, bodyguards and metal detectors and cameras. Like, I don't even know what else you could do. Pizza Boy. Oh shit, that's a good question. I haven't thought about it in a while. This was about 3 years ago in August. It was your basic metal, like 10-inch wrench you would find in a garage. That's fucked up. Was you like commuting to or from work, or was you at the job? Because like that's such a shitty thing and a scary thing. But given what we was talking about a few days ago, watching the Charlie video and how shitty we treat fast food workers, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody did this over a pizza. Rogues, I hate that I live in a world where I always need to check for exits. Yeah, it's scary. And like, I guess maybe the answer to school shootings is like fixing a wider problem with the Ravy Sills. Fuck. Would be fixing a wider problem with society. But I don't know how we could fix it. Because like Australia had like one bad mass shooting, right? And then they did like a government okay, I might be getting my facts wrong, and there might still be some problems. Sorry, I keep kicking my desk. But they did like a government buyback for guns. And like, they got rid of all the guns, I guess. Well, maybe not all of them, but they got rid of a lot of the guns. And that seems to have worked for them. Or, some other countries like just don't really let their like I think it's somewhere in the UK, there's a country where you have to have a certain reason for getting a gun. Like if you're a celebrity and you might need it for safety, like you can go through the process, but you can't just like, because like in America, like anybody can go to a gun show and some old man's gonna sell you a gun for cash without doing any proper checks. And so it's like the cat's out of the bag. And I don't think America could just do what other countries do and fix it, because like the cat's too far out of the bag, right? Like there's no way America could put the cat back in the bag. So like I don't have the answer. I don't know what the answer is. Well, I guess not having the answer and not knowing what the answer is like two completely different things. But like, yeah, I just don't know. I don't know what would work. It's incredibly scary. And it sucks. And maybe no one has the answer yet, because I guess if somebody has the answers, somebody's thought of the answer so far, maybe it wouldn't be a problem.
Like, where's the upside here? And she's not even like emotional during this. If I was like one of the hosts, I would be having a million red flags go off in my head. Like, how are you so okay with talking about your husband passing only a year after he passed on national TV without even tearing up a little bit? Yeah, that's rhetorical. She did it, but oh.
And it's only been a year. How did you process and say you go from processing death to I need to write a book and help others?
I just watched the struggle that my kids were going through. And I actually, I went on Amazon and
Pizza Boy, I was actually just coming home from the doctor and a therapy appointment. It was 3 kids between like 16 to 19 who were just trying to find targets around the nearby park. And I was less than 30 feet from my apartment complex. One person came up from behind with a wrench, and the other 2 punched and kicked while I was down and grabbed my backpack. Couldn't get in my pockets because I'm a good old queer kid and my shorts were too tight. They cracked my head open, and the police drove me to the hospital because I couldn't afford the Uber. I had to get staples in my head. That's fucked up. Like, therein lies the problem, I suppose. Something's going wrong with the kids, and, like, they just want to hurt other people. And I don't know why. I mean, I guess my assumption is, like, something's going wrong with the home life. Too much hate at home. It's making more hateful kids. So they go out and do hateful things, which makes more hateful people, and this just keeps going on and on. Pizza Boy, the only thing that wasn't replaceable was the backpack. The kids got my notebook for therapy and a green tea. Did they get caught? It'd at least be nice if they got caught, but, like, I don't know. Yeah, if it wasn't me, it would have been someone else. They were out to get someone.
Barnes and Noble, and trying to find something that we could use to cope at nights. Nights are the hardest, it seems like, for everybody when, dealing with anything. But I just wanted some story to read to my kids at night. And I just could not find anything. I couldn't find anything that really, suited them or helped them find comfort and peace.
Her kids' worlds were just turned upside down again. The fact that she went onto TV to lie like this is just beyond baffling. I don't think I've ever been more disgusted covering a
Pizza Boy, as far as I know, they didn't. I tried to keep up on it, but on situations like that, there's really not much. We moved out of that place a month later. Like, I feel like there's just certain crimes where it's a little too easy to get away with. Like, if you just randomly attack somebody, you fucking break into a car and steal some shit, like, it feels like too many people get away with that. I don't remember where it is, but there's this one city where people, like, just dead ass park their car, and when they get out, they just leave, like, the trunk and the doors open because it's just so rampant for people breaking cars to looking for shit. So people just don't leave anything in their cars and leave it fucking open and hope nobody breaks their windows while they're doing their job or something.
topic.
It's just that affirmation of, I understand, like, that you are upset, because of this. Like, let's talk about it, and so I think really it's not, it's the emotional and physical touch of it. But really letting your kids understand that why they're feeling the way that they are feeling, and it's okay, and let's deal with it and talk about it.
But because of what actually happened, it looks like she'll be living rent-free for a long time. Because I guess it's time to go over what the investigators found. Remember her cell phone that she claimed was left
These are the fucked up details I live for.
in their bedroom while she was in the kids' room? Apparently that wasn't true, because she was texting someone while she was in her kids' room, and then she deleted the messages from her phone. The police tracked down this person and found out they apparently...
Pizza Boy, on any night I can look out my bedroom window and watch someone walk down the sidewalk and test every car door handle of the cars parked on the street. It's depressing. Don't leave stuff in your cars ever. Yeah, like I lived in a super small town, like I said, before we moved. And, like, everyone would, like, my mom and sisters would dead ass leave their car unlocked and the keys in their car. And I was never that bad. I would take the keys out, but I would usually leave it unlocked. And, like, I wasn't naive about the world. Like, I totally knew I could only get away with that in that town. Like, if I went up north, which was basically code for going from, like, the small area you live in to, like, up to, like, Salt Lake City, or, where we live now. Like, I obviously don't do that anymore. And I wouldn't do it before when I would go someplace, foreign, because, that's just the world we live in, unfortunately.
apparently dealed her fet, and investigators believe that she put that fet in her husband's drink that she made him. As the autopsy showed...
Wait, fet? What's a fet? Fentanyl? Did I miss something? Hold on.
They are feeling, and it's okay, and let's deal with it and talk about it.
But because of what actually happened, it looks like she'll be living rent-free for a long time. Because I guess it's time to go over what the investigators found. Remember her cell phone that she claimed was left in their bedroom while she was in the kids' room? Apparently that wasn't true, because she was texting someone while she was in her kids' room, and then she deleted the messages from her phone. The police tracked down this person and found out they apparently dealed her fet, and investigators believe that she put that fet in her husband's drink that she made him. As the autopsy showed, he had 5 times the lethal dose in his system. Then to add to everything, a sibling of the husband claimed that he told her that Corey had tried to end his life previously by giving him a drink that made him violently ill. Also alleging that Corey tried to change the family trust to make Corey the sole benefactor of the trust, meaning essentially if something happens to the husband, all the money goes to her and not the kids. And to add to the evidence, the day after the husband died, she bought a $2 million house that they previously fought over because he didn't want to buy it because he claimed it was too expensive. Then finally, according to the warrants that KPCW viewed, the husband was planning on filing a divorce but passed away before any of the divorce proceedings began. So it looks like Corey will be moving from a multi-million dollar house to a multi-million dollar facility, and I hope she rots in it. But if you want to see,
I know full well that it's not easy to leave people in that situation, so I'm not gonna be like, oh, he should have just left. Oh, why wouldn't he leave after the first time? But like, it really sucks that he saw this coming and he wasn't able to, he just wasn't able to get things taken care of fast enough. It's really sad.
something a little bit less serious, this man became one of the largest TikTok frauds in just a couple months and even scammed a grieving family. So that is one wild story because that's a rabbit hole. The video kind of starts off normal, but as it progresses, it just gets more and more insane. So I definitely recommend checking it out. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Hopefully I'm not as nasally because these pollen allergies have me messed up and I can't even breathe through my nose at this point. So hopefully I can breathe through my nose in the next video. Peace.
Woo! That was intense. I think that's one of the heaviest Atozy videos I've ever seen, and I'm pretty certain that's like the heaviest video I've reacted to on stream yet. That was intense. What do you guys say? What do you guys say we lighten the mood with a little bit of phasmophobia?